Alerts are out.
And it looks like we should be live now. Welcome everyone to the Awesemo.com Live Before Lock show, where we will discuss all of the comings and goings in daily fantasy sports today. We got baseball, we have a little bit of basketball, and today's a big day for the first time on this here live stream. We've done a couple videos with him before for premium members, and a couple of freebies have been on the YouTube channel. But today we're having the man himself, Alex Awesemo Baker, the top player in all of fantasy sports. Right, I think, well, tournament-wise, I don't know about cash-wise, but at least tournament-wise, he is the #1 player in the world across a bunch of sports. He'll be here talking with us about his article today, which is up for premium members of Awesemo.com, where he's talking about the probability of stacks succeeding in baseball tonight. But he'll be here talking about that, shooting the shit with us, the same we always do, and that'll be coming up in about 10 minutes. Josh, actually, and I'm Chris Bags, and I'm with the man in the hat. I can't even tell what that hat is, but it is quite a big logo on that hat. Josh Engelman, how's it going?
It's good. One thing before we get going, can you turn your mic volume up a little? You're a little quiet.
Oh, okay.
Am I actually? It's All-Star Weekend 1995.
Oh, okay. That's a nice hat. It's a very large logoed hat.
Yes, it is.
Befitting the era.
I have the jacket that matches.
Take off your pants and jacket, Josh. A great album that probably half of the people who will tune in today will not know the reference to.
Yeah, I was a very big fan of that album for both musically and the title.
It was very clever for the time. Now I feel like my humor sensibilities have gone up so much, I'm sure.
I think it's funnier now.
Well, you know, some of us have regressed, some of us have grown. I'm wearing a Henley today like a professional adult because I have to go somewhere after this.
I'm wearing the 1998 NBA All-Star shirt to go with my 1995 hat.
I mean, you are on brand. You're fitting the theme. I would feel bad, I guess, if you had only one of those things.
Yeah. I need to get a 1998 hat, I guess.
You do. You need like a lot of old things on you to, I guess, to really feel comfortable for the stream. It's a big stream for us. We're all wearing our best clothes for Alex, I guess. Just different versions of it. He's talking to stacks in his article, so let's save that for him. Let's talk pitchers up front. We have a 10-game slate in MLB tonight. We'll probably talk a little NBA with Awesemo, maybe get his thoughts on showdown slates in general, since there have been some changes on DraftKings. But let's talk about pitchers. Josh, you've done probably some crunching, I presume. What are you looking at so far at pitcher?
Computer's being weird. Give me 1 second. Oop, okay, we're good. You said pitchers?
Yep, pitchers.
Okay.
Not belly injuries.
So I'm spread out a lot like the field. I've got 25% of Ohtani, John Gray, Eduardo Rodriguez, Jose Quintana, and Jake Odorizzi. And then the only place that I'm differentiating majorly, I've got double the projected field of Sonny Gray right now on DK. And I have basically like half of McCullers.
Are you not playing Flaherty?
I have 9%, which matches the field right now.
Huh. Okay. So that was the one that jumped out to me because I've gone back and forth on Flaherty pretty much all day. He's going against the Marlins. I actually ended up, I think, talking myself into the Cardinals in that game, in part because of staring at both teams for so long. I've been trying to figure out how that might go well for Flaherty or poorly. Flaherty's pretty overpriced, but I like this slate. Like, I like Ohtani. The Royals hang on pretty strongly versus strikeouts, so that's the one little caveat that I would worry about. But I like that you said Ohtani because I think Ohtani, I mean, should be a little lower on for what he's done this year, I think. Quintana seems, and Gray, we're projecting, at least on DraftKings, Gray in particular projecting to be very highly owned. What about Gray?
John Gray, 26%.
Yeah. So is that what you're having for him too?
Yeah, I'm at 25.
Your YouTube videos volume. Okay. Is our volume okay now? I assume it is. I feel like we've never had volume complaints before.
Yeah, you're still a little quiet.
What is going on? All right, maybe I'm far away. It's weird. It's the same setup I have every day. Maybe I'll yell. I'll start being like a regular sports radio guy and just berate the screen every day. Let's see. Odorizzi. No worries about Odorizzi.
No, I've got a ton of him. I'm over the field on Odorizzi on FanDuel and DK.
Who is looking like the worst pitcher on the slate to you? I think one guy jumps out quite a bit, and I think we also have that reflected in our ownership percentages on Awesemo. What guy do you think is going to get rocked most likely tonight at pitcher?
Like anybody, or do you mean like of guys that we have owned?
No, of anybody. Like, who do you think is the worst pitcher that... I was surprised that we had the ownership this high on this team. Let's put it that way.
I think the worst pitcher of the slate is Wade LeBlanc.
Okay, so not Santiago.
He's, I don't know, maybe like third or fourth worst.
So I was surprised when I pulled up our ownership today to be like to see that the Twins were so highly owned. I think we have Dozier being very highly owned, Sano being very highly owned.
They're my number one stack right now.
Yeah, and I think that's because everybody presumes that Santiago is going to get rocked. And Santiago grades out, I think, is overall the second worst pitcher on the slate in a lot of categories, maybe worse than some others. Actually, worse than xFIP, third worst in WHIP. So, yeah, I think that Santiago looks like a terrible play, but I'm surprised that the Twins are that highly owned for you and that highly owned as our ownership. Like, is it just a value thing, or is it a combination of both?
I mean, the implied total obviously helps. Santiago grades out really poorly for me. 5.37 FIP from Steamer, so that doesn't help either. They've been bad against, or the Twins have been not great against lefties this year, but I'm still rolling that direction just because I think Santiago is terrible.
Okay. Yeah,
and like the pricing on some of these guys is spectacular.
Yeah, I think that's like the one thing I'm concerned about is that the pricing seems good, the matchup seems really good, and then they're going to be highly owned, despite the fact that there are also some other really good stacks, which we'll talk about shortly with Awesemo. I don't know, like I feel like it feels a little trappy to me. Like I think that's how I've kind of shook out on it. I don't know, but that might just be me being worried after getting burned a few times by those perfect layup stacks. And a lot of people yesterday got burned by the Athletics, so I think there is some fair precedence there to worry about.
Yeah, that was my problem for your volume, so my bad.
Oh, there we go. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate that.
Well, like, I don't ever fuck with that stuff, so like I don't know how it happened, but the volume through the microphone into my headset was set at 6 of 100. But like, it's not like I go in and change that ever. It's always just whatever it is. So
sabotaging me. Also,
I just
Josh,
assumed it was you.
If you want to ring in our special guest, we can do that now.
Okie dokie.
And so we're going to bring on Alex Awesemo Baker, the founder of our site, top player in the world right now. Again, this is our first time doing it, so hopefully this doesn't explode in some way while Josh does. But we're bringing Alex on to talk about his article today. If you're a premium member on Awesemo.com, Alex talks about his projected high-scoring pitchers, his projected high-scoring stacks, and breaks down the percentage of all that stuff, which is something I think a lot of the guys in the chat have asked for. So if you are looking for another data-focused approach to these kind of things and probability rates and all that stuff, Alex is doing a lot of those articles now for premium members on Awesemo. So there we go. And there's the man himself, Alex. What's going on? Welcome to the live stream. Live stream, be nice to Alex. Alex, how's it going?
Hey, going good, guys. How's it going with you?
I'm good.
Good. Yeah. Hey, it's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, so we can't complain. Got a big slate of games. You have a big article today, which we'll talk about. We're saving it just for you, since you are the expert. So I'm told. Apparently, you're pretty good at this. Good enough to have a website named after you.
To be fair, I own JoshEngelman.com. Does that make me good? Does that make
well, I have played a couple of fantasy contests in my time, so I can offer some advice here.
You like to dabble. You're a season-long guy. You have your buddies' league that you play once a year. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, my season-long baseball team isn't doing so hot, so fortunately we have DraftKings and FanDuel to kind of give me another shot here.
So let's talk about your article today. It's one of the ones that we like a lot, that both Josh and I have kind of hyped when you haven't been on the stream, where you're talking about perfect pitchers, and today rather, you're talking about the most likely to succeed stacks. What are you looking at for those, and I guess what shook out for you with that today on the slate?
So with the top stack article, the idea is kind of everyone has similar ideas of how teams are going to perform on a given day. So the way you got to outsmart the field is you got to figure out what everyone else is on and try to figure out which teams are going to be inefficiently owned. So which are going to be like too high owned that you want to stay away from, which are going to be too low owned and you want to kind of target. Tonight we have kind of an unusual slate in that there's so many teams all in kind of clump and projection. So it's going to be even more important to kind of figure out what the most popular plays are so you can kind of deviate to a stack that might not be quite as likely to succeed, but gives you a better chance to win the tournament.
So I mean, we don't want to spoil it for premium for people who aren't premium because don't be so poor and just buy it because it helps out. But also, we'll mention, I guess, because we have talked about the stack and we were just talking about it before you came on. You mentioned 2 stacks that will be very popular tonight as possible ones that you might want to fade. Why do you think those 2 teams up top are the ones that you might want to pivot off of?
Yeah, definitely. So the way most people make their lineups, or I guess I shouldn't say most people, but most lineups are made using an optimizer. So what's going to happen is everybody's going to have those teams that are popping at the top of the optimizer. And since everyone's projections are pretty similar, it's all going to be like the same teams for each person. And that's what we're finding today in our projected ownership with Oakland and Minnesota. So both teams with really high totals and also reasonable prices. And that combination means they're going to pop up a lot in people's lineups, especially built by Optimizer. And we got to figure out, is there still an edge left to be had in those teams, or should we kind of pivot and try to find one that's less owned?
So you recommended a bunch of other teams, and again, you pointed out Oakland and Minnesota as being the teams. And I was saying to Josh just before you came on, I was lecturing him actually about how they're going to be overowned. So we're on the same page here, Alex. I don't know about this Josh character, but we were talking about that. Which teams do you feel like there's a bigger opportunity then if we're going to have Oakland and Minnesota being possibly overowned? Which one team do you say is like the best pivot, or do you feel like might be the best pivot?
Well, you'll see that one team in my lineups tonight, but I can give you a few different teams that I think I'll have a lot of exposure to. I mean, pretty much every team with a run total over 5 that isn't Oakland or Minnesota is in a good spot tonight. So the Yankees, Boston, Houston, St. Louis, Texas, Colorado, and LA. I'm going to prefer over Oakland and Minnesota.
So I like you said St. Louis because that's actually one I landed on before seeing your article. And Josh and I have talked about this a lot in the live streams where whenever we have an idea and then you back it out with one of your articles, I feel like it's a little pat on the head that we're on the right track. So I felt good about that. But yeah, I'm on the Cardinals. We'll talk more about that later when Josh and I break down our individual lineups and all that. So Josh, do you have any questions you want to throw out there? And actually, chat, if you have questions too, put them in there. If you have anything that's not too inflammatory or hurtful, we'll ask Alex.
And, let's stay away from the men's lifestyle here.
We're going full professional mode for you. You got a button down on. I'm wearing a Henley. Josh is dressed like he's a 90s rapper. Everybody's got something going for him.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Apparently I dressed like Turtle today.
It fits your role in the operation.
It's been a rough day today, but we can get into that once the boss is gone. You know what we need to do? We need an Alex home run pick for today.
Ooh, that's the tough one on the spot, Alex, but that is a claim to fame. I don't know if, Alex, you watch the live streams. He is a good boss who supports us by watching our videos. If you aren't aware, I am the top home run king. We dub it the king of dongs. And I daily wear the crown of dongs, at least emotionally. We don't have an actual crown of dongs yet. But we actually finished our first month with it. I think the final record was I got 5, Josh got 2, and Jake got 2, I think, or something like that. Might be miscounting.
You have 6,
no,
actually, so I don't really want to give you that credit, but whatever.
But yeah,
Chris, did you guys already give your home run picks?
No,
no. We're going to let you go first because, you're the guest. It's just good manners.
Well, I got to figure out who you're on because you tend to know the home run picks better than anyone else here.
Oh, I appreciate that, Alex. It's the one place I can help you out in, not any other sort of lineup construction, but just the guys kind of awful and they look like white guys who get home runs, basically is who I usually pick.
You think about that. I think there's a good question in the chat. Does it still apply to differentiate to the same degree if you're playing cash games? I think we get a lot of cash type questions in.
So as far as cash games, it kind of depends on the format because like a head-to-head, it's not really important whether you stack or not. But like a 3-man or even a bigger winner-take-all that has like 4 to 10 people, it's really important to kind of be contrarian in that tournament. So, I mean, in cash, you're going to want to play a lot of Oakland and Minnesota because those are the best price plays. If you're playing a winner-take-all cash format, then I would still deviate to one of the other teams.
There you go. So, yeah, there is a lot of cash questions. We do try to differentiate as much as we can when we're talking about things here. But a lot of the same principles apply. It's still mostly about value and stuff. And, again, Alex's rankings, too, are pretty good at sussing that stuff out every single day. If you want to see the value plays and the best mix of projection and value, that's a good cash strategy to go with. Actually, here's a question I think we've talked about in our premium videos. How are you approaching stacks in general? Are you going to 2 teams, 3 teams? How do you look at that? Or, I mean, obviously it's a bit slate specific, but what's your general kind of holistic overview of that?
So in general, you want to have your players correlated as much as possible. The problem is when there's a small slate, if you have if you stack your whole team, like there's 4 teams, you have like 4 guys from each team, then you're going to have like pretty much the same lineup as someone else who uses that strategy. And it really limits like the number of combinations of possible lineups. So as the slate size gets bigger, you want to start like having more correlation between the players. So if it's like a 10-game slate like tonight, it's kind of in between like a small and a big slate. So you can either kind of like stack like 1 team or you can stack 2 teams. I think they're both pretty good strategies.
Here's a question from Kevin. As a low money player, would you play one $3 single entry or $3 worth of 25-cent entries?
If you have time to make the lineups, definitely $3 of 25-cent. It's going to kind of spread out your portfolio a little bit so that you're not going to go broke on any given day. And as you're trying to build up your bankroll, that's really important. Plus, the competition is a lot weaker at the micro stakes compared to like as you go up.
Not to give away your secrets, but Fred's asking, I think this is a question that people would ask whenever they see the articles. How do you kind of determine the probability of success of those stacks and pitchers when you're doing those articles? What are you looking at? Is it just, I mean, obviously it's more than an educated guess, I would presume, but what goes into that?
Well, I don't want to give away too much proprietary information here, but trying to take everything into account, you know, like the pitcher, the weather, whether it's a home or away team, and I kind of came up with all these different factors and made an algorithm that calculates the chance that each team will do the best on that day.
And Josh has talked about that before too, with the projections and the steamers and stuff like that, where you can get that down to a pretty close science. So that makes sense that would be an extrapolation on that. Let's talk a little basketball. People asked a little bit, and I think this is more of a general game theory question about basketball. With the showdown slates and the captain position, there's been some changes. It's similar to FanDuel, but not exactly the same. How do you approach those kind of slates? I mean, they're pretty big tournaments. I think they were still pretty split with first place so far. But how are you approaching those to be different, and how are you what's the difference between the old format and this?
It's kind of a tricky question because we're kind of weighing this top-heavy format where if you go contrarian, you might win like $250,000. Or if you have the number 1 lineup, you're a lot more likely to win first place, but you only get like a few $100 or something. Chris, you're pretty familiar with that.
I am the king of that one showdown that got me $150 or something like that, or $200. Not the best, but still felt good. Felt good to be a part of something.
It's all about getting the W, man. So this is a question where I think the jury is still out. I don't think anyone's really figured out the best strategy because if you go too contrarian, your chance of winning goes way down, and a lot of the money you get is from like cashing. So if you have a lineup that's only going cash like 5% of the time, but it's going to win first like more than its fair share, it still might not be worth it, you know? But I did notice the other night people had David West. He was like a couple of percentage owned, and it was split only between like 2 people almost until the very end. So if you can kind of pick that guy who might get an expanded role, you might have a better shot at winning the whole prize pool. But I'm pretty content like splitting it with a bunch of people.
Right. For you, that's probably a more plus EV approach, just to not worry about taking out the whole thing at that point. If you were to pick a guy like that tonight, I mentioned one because Ty Lue is hyping him up, but I don't know that I actually believe it at all. Would it be Rodney Hood, and why?
I think Rodney Hood is a good. He's in a good spot to kind of surprise people. I think he's only 1K on DraftKings. The coach said he's going to play. And if someone's going to play and they're 1K, that means they're on the board. Unfortunately, I think that it's not under the radar, so it's not going to be a play that's like 1% owned. So the more contrarian play might be going to a guy like Jordan Clarkson, who has been kind of doing crappy. But maybe, like today, Rodney Hood isn't doing very good, and Clarkson gets another shot and does well. So it's all kind of trying to pick a guy who's unlikely to go off, but has the potential.
I like that these short slates make you think about narrative stuff that you probably don't love thinking about, because I think that's where I specialize. But I agree that that's actually what I would do too. Like Corver, maybe a little more expensive, but he's been pretty terrible so far. But I think that's a valuable approach. Like I like Hood. I think it's an interesting play. But you're right. He's probably going to be, maybe 10%, 20% owned. He won't be quite as much of a differentiation as you would hope he'll be. We got you for a couple more minutes before we have to leave you to hopefully make your hundreds of thousands of dollars. But let's do home run picks, Josh. While we have Osmo, we'll leave him.
Okay.
We'll put him on the spot, make him do one. I'm going to go with a contrarian player who I added when I was like, all right, I guess I shouldn't play the Twins if 20% of people are going to be playing Mitch Garver. I ended up going to Jose Martinez at first base, so I'm going with the Cardinals and Jose Martinez.
Okay.
All right. Is it me?
It can be because I'm not ready.
Well, if we're doing contrarian here, I like Jose Martinez. But he's not quite contrarian enough for me for like a home run pick.
Wow.
Sorry,
okay.
Chris.
I like
I'm gonna go way off the board and pick Robinson and Trinos.
That is not the first time he's been picked, which is crazy.
Well, he's got some power. He's batting 7th in the order, which makes it unlikely, but it's good park. The team total's high, so I think he has a good shot of being that contrarian home run tonight.
I like it. Josh, who do you have? Josh is so this is so in his head. Like Josh is usually so confident on the stream, but the Dong game is tough for Josh. Look at his eyes. Those eyes are. So
I don't like not getting it right. It really sucks. Okay. This one's down the line quite a bit, but I'm gonna go with it because they were bad yesterday. Give me. Well, wait, no, I don't have it filtered. I gotta filter out the early games. I'm looking at guys like, oh shit, they didn't play well today.
Wait, are we allowed to pick guys from the early games? I might have to change my pick.
I got CJ Crone.
Nice.
That's not true. He already went yard today.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. It actually was what Alex said.
I'm gonna go with former Atlanta Brave Evan Gattis.
Oh, wow. Everybody's getting weird today, huh? All right, I see how it is.
I don't know. I've got Gattis as 19th most likely here, so.
Those are some good picks. That's why we're paying you guys the big bucks.
Whoa,
thanks,
we're getting paid big bucks?
Everybody, so Alex has to go do his lineups, but make sure you're following him on Twitter at OsmoDFS. He's tweeting his little observations. He's a good guy. As you might be able to tell from watching this, we like him as a human being. It's nice to work for somebody who is successful and not terrible. So thanks for doing this, Alex. We'll have Alex back every week, so we'll be doing this, 15 minutes at a time here and there. So we'll take more questions next time, hopefully. But Alex, any parting words for the lovely folks in the chat and watching us right now?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for hosting the show, and thanks everybody for supporting the site. It's been awesome so far, kind of like starting this new thing. I hope that we can help you guys win a bunch of money.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
Later, dude.
That's it.
All right, there you go. So that is our boss. A lot of people come into the stream and ask, hey, are you guys Osmo? Are you Osmo? now you have seen Osmo. Now you know what he's like. Very nice fellow, very smart fellow. So, boy, Robinson Chirinos, I wasn't expecting him to mine that hard.
Neither was I. And you know what? It's gonna suck when it works, and he just gets this for the first time ever.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So there we go. And Josh, you've taken me off the screen completely for now. I appreciate that.
Well, I think my computer just froze. I'm trying to recapture the screen, but now everything is gray and I can't see anything. I can hear you, which is great, but I've got nothing on my screen right now.
Poor Jake just got his home run pick in. Jake is the forgotten man out of this now that we got an Alex pick. But Jake's home runs not as good as his pitcher picks. That I will say that for Jake.
Oh, now we're back in business, and it's just zoomed in on your right eyeball.
Oh, good. That is my best eyeball. That's what people say. The sexiest, most curvaceous eyeball I have.
All right, we might be in some trouble because everything I just did to reselect you happened again. So.
All right. Well, you'll figure it out. They can still hear me.
Yeah, we're good.
Bill Butlicker, your questions would get answered because we can't subject Alex to your horrendous questions about Eiffel Towering people this early. We tried to keep it professional. We're wearing our fancy boy shirts. Got to build the boss man a reel so he can get on ESPN. And that's not actually the goal, but it would be nice. I want to talk more about the Cardinals because people are really in on the Cardinals, and now I'm like, wait a minute, what's up with all the Cardinals? Are you playing any Cardinals? Or are you stacking them at any volume, rather?
Yeah, they're my fourth most owned stack right now.
Okay, so where are you going for those guys? Because actually, I like Bader quite a bit, and somebody mentioned him in the chat. I think they have a lot of young guys who people aren't going to be playing and just aren't on, and I think that's sort of what appealed to me the most about that stack. But which guys do you jump out the most on that side?
Give me 1 second. I think I'm going to be able to select you again. Yeah, there we go. Now we're back in business.
All right.
Learning how to do this on the fly. So
I was actually pretty impressive how well you managed it, all things considered, that you are both hosting and producing this show at the same time.
Yeah. Look, if it wasn't for the computer itself, I was good to go on that little freeze section. It's not like I personally froze. What was your question? Something about the Cardinal stack?
Yeah, the Cardinals. Which Cardinals would you go to? For me, I think there are a couple guys there who are going to be under-owned just because people don't know the names yet or don't know that they've been pretty successful in at least a limited sample size. But which guys on the Cardinals would you go with if you're playing them?
Yeah, so most of my exposure, at least on DK, is in the first 5 guys in the order. So Carpenter, Pham, Martinez, Ozuna, and Molina. I have a little bit of Jerko, very little bits of Bader and Munoz, but that's sort of where I'm at right now. I'm not too far ahead of the projected ownership.
So yeah, I like Munoz. I like Bader. The bottom of the order, actually, in particular, I think I like a lot. Like Pham. So for me, the stack that I think I have right now, apparently I lost my stack somehow. I must not have saved it before I went to the gym. But I had Pham, Martinez, Yorko, Bader, Munoz. And I think the particularly valuable part of that is that Bader, Munoz, Yorko part. Their prices are up, so you're paying up a little bit for these guys with a smaller sample size. But I think that they are a pretty good spot to be successful, and people are just going to forget it because the Cardinals it's not a great hitting park. That total's pretty close to all the others.
So we have the ability to run some polls in the YouTube stream now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna add a poll so everyone can vote on who has the best dong pick.
Who has the best dong? Just leave it as that. Make your guesses. Oh, I'm excited to play Munoz.
All right.
I just want to see your
Robinson Chirinos.
Where's the poll going to appear? Like in the chat?
Yeah, kind of. I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
We had them for the early show, Jake and I, today.
Oh, I didn't watch today.
Thanks, man.
I actually have been watching most days, but just not today.
Who the hell did I pick? Evan Gattis. You have Jose Martinez?
Yeah.
Who did Jake take?
He took Valbuena. Luis. Not his brother, Eduardo.
All right, so if you have the video stream open, you'll see like a little circle in the top right corner of the stream window that has 3 dots on it. And if you click on that, it'll pop out question. Most likely to hit a dong with all 4 guys listed. So get your votes in.
Oh wait, I see all of your old questions that you must have had before. Which 10K pitcher on DK is your favorite main slate?
I just deleted them. If you would refresh that, they'll go away.
Okay. Let's see. I just want to vote. I want to vote for my pick.
You could do that.
I like how we turned viewer participation into a complete slowdown of posting that defeats the purpose entirely. But hey, we're learning new things. We're turning this into a real show more by more every day. Man, my thing is not updating.
Did you refresh the thing first?
I didn't refresh the video, but I feel like I shouldn't have to, should I?
Yeah, for some reason, yes, you have to.
Oh, well then I would lose the chat.
Yeah, but the chat will come right back, won't it?
It's a little slow sometimes. Whatever. Well, I'll find out either way. But either way, vote for my guy in the poll because obviously it's the best pick.
No, vote for mine.
That goes without saying. Other stacks, other under-owned stacks that you think might be valuable. We talked about them obviously with Osmo. Osmo's picks are going to be better than anything we'll give you. I did like that he was on the same page as us, though. What stacks do you feel like out of that group of lesser-owned stacks that aren't Oakland and Minnesota will be the most valuable?
I'm doubled up on the White Sox right now, mostly just Moncada and Abreu.
Interesting. Okay. So you're playing... Jose Martinez doing well in the poll. Evan Gaddis slagging behind.
Fuck y'all.
This makes me so happy. Everyone, please sabotage Josh's day and his home run picks in perpetuity. It would make me so happy.
Today has already been sabotaged for me, man. It's been a
so what happened? Why are you having a bad day?
So I tweeted about it earlier. I talked to Jake about it. Started off the day sitting at my desk. I get an alert, an emergency SOS alert on my phone from my wife. I freak out, run downstairs. She's not here. I assume she went to the gym. I try to immediately call her. It goes straight to voicemail. I try calling again. It starts ringing here. So I was like, okay, she doesn't have her phone. I just assume she's at the gym. Turns out she goes to like a kickboxing type gym, and her hand wraps were on and her gloves were on, and it was pressing the side button of her Apple Watch, and it held it in so long that it sent an SOS to me and her dad. So I had to call her dad and be like, everything's good. So then 3 hours later, we're supposed to get a new liner for our pool. We find out that we need actually a brand new pool. So I have to buy a new pool, which I'm not really happy about.
Oh, I didn't even know you had a pool. Look at you.
Yeah. So, well, right now I don't. Right now I just have a big metal frame with like sloppy water an inch from the ground. So I need a new pool. So that's great. And then after the pool people left, I didn't realize the gate wasn't shut, and the pug got out. And we couldn't find him for a little bit. And I found him just like strolling a block and a half from my house, just getting his sniffs in on the grass. So I had a mini panic attack thinking I lost my dog too. Just a shit day, all things considered.
Well, but you know what? You're safe now.
The table setter from this morning, so I can't complain too much.
That's right. Are you still? That's still going on right now?
Yeah, there's 2 innings left. So I've got Arizona guys, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay. I kind of just need it to end at this point.
This is one of your classic ones where you're hoping it doesn't go to extra innings like that one game?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, man. See, now I have to play a one-off catcher because, like, I forgot who I had in here. Oh, well. I guess I'll do that. I might play Chirinos, actually, now that that got a cosign. Yeah, fuck it. I'll go Chirinos. All right. Yeah, I'm going with a 5-1-1-1 stack today, apparently. Good job, Chris.
I didn't even look to see where I have him.
I mean, he looked good yesterday, too. I think somebody in the chat picked him. It might have been Greek Ink. I feel like I've been seeing pop up more. It's funny, like, and this is totally stupid, and it's not, like, a real thing. I notice all of your chats, but when somebody points out that they're premium, I, for some reason, view them more. Like, it's like Twitch, where they give, like, a priority thing, but it's a mental thing I do, where I treat you more specially. So if it was Greek Ink, congratulations on your pick yesterday.
I've got Chirinos at 66th, which isn't bad for a 10-game slate.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's not a fantastic play, but I think a pretty contrarian home run pick, and I think that lineup. I actually switched to the Rangers yesterday, and they did pretty well for me. Because I was on the Cubs, and I was just like, didn't field the Cubs during the show, and broke down the Rangers with Jake, and I was like, I should play the Rangers instead. Thankfully, went to them, but boy, Kyle Hendricks sucked a fucking dick yesterday.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that one. Last night was my worst night in like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh yeah, wasn't great. I still won because I just did the one. I realized for some reason I do better with one entry in the rally cap than one entry in a single entry, and I don't know why that is. I feel like that's not how Osmo says to play. But for some reason I always win in the rally cap, and I don't finish in the single entry, or like I finish mediocre in a single entry.
I haven't had much single entry luck this year.
It's hard. I feel like people are really good at those. Like the whatever. There's always like, I mean, it's still a pretty big gap, but not a crazy big gap between the best entry and like the rally cap or one of the big tournaments and like whatever the base hit. I forget whatever the $12 one is. Yeah. So yes. Anyway. Oh, David Clark for premium too. Thank you, David Clark, for being premium. Anybody else who wants to be premium or is premium and you want to shout out, just drop it into the chat and we'll shout you out because we care. Who are your top pitchers for a DK GPP tonight? Now that you're a DK pro in competition for the table setter, what would you do?
I mean, I've got 5 guys at the exact same ownership, so I don't. Otani, John Gray, Erod, Quintana, and Odorizzi. I have all at 25%.
Do you like Erod tonight? Like, I mean, I assume you do if he's one of your 5 guys, but
I fucking end up on him every week.
So I've been off of him the last few times, and he's been better then. But he never grades out that well as like from a stat standpoint. Like he's always kind of middle of the pack. I mean, his K rate's pretty decent, but I don't. It worried me a little with the matchup because they're not bad versus lefties, and I feel like that's sort of like if he's not getting strikeouts and he's a risk of giving up some runs. I kind of worry about Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think they actually. Well, I mean, they should be bad. I don't know. Look, I'll probably be wrong.
All right.
I end up with more than him, with more of him than I normally do. He projects really well for me from a K perspective, which is kind of weird because the Tigers haven't been K'ing all that much against lefties, so I hope I'm right. I wish that he was less owned.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of how I feel about it. Like, for his ownership, I don't think it's great. The Tigers are 3rd in on-base percentage versus lefties. They only strike out 18%, which, as Josh pointed out before, is like significant, or 4% or so under league average. So, and they also have pretty decent power. I mean, a little less so with what's-his-face out, but still not, I don't know, not a spot I want to go to. Quintana is a popular one tonight, and a lot of people are backing that one out with Rhys Hoskins being out as a reason why. Do you have any concerns about Quintana at all?
No, I love him. I have him projected for the 3rd most DraftKings points today.
Okay. I liked Quintana the last time. I think I was on a stream with Jake whenever we talked about him last. And I liked him a lot then. I worry a little about him with the Phillies because the Phillies do bat pretty well versus a pitcher like him. And I think that sort of got me off, especially that got me off. It got me off of him. But because his ownership's going to be high. We haven't projected to be the highest owned guy on the slate. I don't know that Jose Quintana deserves that.
I do. At that price, I do. 9,400. He looks a lot better than Flaherty, McCullers, or Nola to me. Like, I have him projected like 3.5 points ahead of all those guys at less salary. So, to me, that's why he's there, because his price is a bargain.
Okay. I think the price is not bad, and especially when you're talking about paying $10,000 for Flaherty on the same slate, and I think that there's a logic there. I just worry a little bit about, having him at that high ownership and Phillies being a pretty decent matchup on paper for as hitters. I was going to ask something about pitcher. Let's see if there's any questions.
I'm under the field on Quintana right now.
Okay. So you just had your cake and ate it too.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 25%. We've got him at like 31 or something.
Yeah. Okay. I would say if we're making points about reasons that pitchers might be problematic, that would be one. Let's take a different approach because this is something that happened last night, and Jake and I were both like, Estrada, that guy versus the Yankees, terrible.
Yeah.
He ended up being a very viable pitcher on that slate. Is there a guy on this slate who's super cheap, who looks like he's in a terrible spot, who you think might have a chance of success?
Wow, that's an interesting question.
Hey, feel good about that one.
Let me look at it here. Oh, God, I don't even think I could say this out loud.
Is it going to be Romano?
Ian Kennedy.
Ooh, okay. You had a good game versus the Angels earlier this year, but, still sucks.
Yeah, I have some Ian Kennedy. The Angels just lean really heavily to the right-hand side. They don't have Ohtani's bat in the lineup. So, if things break correctly and the ball... Kennedy's hittable. So, if those balls just happen to be finding fielders today, he's going to get a lot of same-sided guys. There's only 2 guys on the team of the 9 guys in the lineup that have the platoon split advantage. So, only 2 guys... Trout and Upton are the only 2 guys that have a weighted runs created steamer projection over 100. So, it's a sneaky, not great lineup. I wouldn't want, a ton of Kennedy or anything, and the more likely scenario is that he gets fucking bombed. But for 4,300, I'm willing to take that kind of flyer.
Okay. For me, it would be actually... So, this is not a play I would actually advocate making, but I spent a lot of time really looking at Sal Romano, because I was just like, is Sal Romano maybe good? It's like the Estrada thing really fucked with me. I was really shocked watching that develop last night. I don't think it's Sal Romano. So this guy's not cheap enough, but we haven't talked about him yet. Caleb Ferguson looks really good. Looked really good from a minor's perspective. He has some pretty good pro level pitches too. We've talked about the value of these guys coming in. He's a little overpriced, but I'm curious about him as a lower owned pivot that people are maybe going to be afraid to play.
I've got him at 8%. We're projecting 2.
Yeah, we're projecting him really low. I was surprised that it was that low because I think people like playing the new name, but
I like him today.
Okay, so I like Ferguson. Again, not super cheap, but that's the guy who I would go with. I feel like I just don't see talked about today. And he's got some pretty good stuff. His minors numbers are project, at least from what I could project. Might have been very amateurish, but he had a K per 9 over 9, and his walk rate wasn't terrible. And I think to me that would grade out pretty close to the middle of the pack in today's pitchers. And the Pirates are beatable. They haven't seen his stuff before. I feel like that always helps.
When you said Ferguson, I pictured something completely different. What do you think I pictured?
Was I going to talk race riots?
No, but that was where I thought you might go. Think further back.
Oh, I don't even know.
Clarissa Explains It All.
Oh no! I wouldn't know that was. I would not a reference that'd be top of mind for me, but that is fair.
Okay.
So Jake's just touting in the chat now.
Can we talk about the poll results right now? Jose Martinez at 10 votes, Chirinos at 8, Valbuena at 6, Evan Gaddis fucking 0.
They might just be trolling you, Chubster. They just know that.
Chad hates the Chubster.
Oh, man. That's funny, though. Evan Gaddis is an okay play. I like watching him be the one who hits a home run tonight. That's how it goes.
Does,
now
all y'all can eat my scrum, man.
Now you're contrarian, and I feel like the contrarian option is always a better one. So you got that.
I don't know why it's such a weird pick.
It's not.
He does hit home runs. It's not like I said who's going to hit the first single of the game.
I think Wade LeBlanc grades out better recently than he did earlier in the year, at least for me. So that's why I wasn't, But you're right. The Vegas total's there. He's in the lineup. You're right. You right.
I'm well aware I'm right.
So Tigers. I don't mind a Tiger stack, and I don't mind what Adam Bursa saying in the chat. James McCann. I think there's a couple of interesting catchers who I wouldn't mind playing as a one-off, and McCann is one of them. You're obviously playing Rodriguez, so you may not have thought it through that far. But would you stack the Tigers tonight, or do you have any Tiger stacks at all?
Do I have any Tiger stacks? I have 5% total Tigers. A couple one-offs of Cabrera, and looks like 2% McCann.
Okay, I like McCann. There were enough Tigers on that side that I liked, and they were one of the teams that I considered going against. Then I saw Rodriguez has been pitching better lately, so I didn't feel as compelled as when he was getting shelled a little earlier this year. But yeah, they have like a good group of guys who I feel like can get on base and do some stuff. Cabrera, let's see, let's see, hold up, sorry, my lineup is not up. Yeah, Castellanos, I don't mind. Cabrera, McCann. I always like Goodrum a little, but he's kind of cooled off a little bit. But I think there's enough guys on that side who I feel like can do some damage, and I would wonder about that. Any Mitch Garver shares? Let's talk Twins because we have Mitch Garver projected to be very highly owned. And do you feel comfortable having Mitch Garver as part of your stack if he's going to be like 20% owned as part of like the Twin stack?
Yes.
Even at that high ownership for a catcher who's, I would say, sort of middling. I mean, he fits the handedness of the matchup, but not a great hitter.
We've got Garver at 9% on DK right now.
Oh, he went down? Okay, he was higher before.
No, I've got in the 20s. So.
Okay, yeah, he was at, I think, 19% before. That was actually what initially made me get off the Twins, was that I was like, I'm not fucking rostering Mitch Garver at 20%.
Well, now you got me thinking that I copied and pasted the wrong shit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's 9% on DK, so.
So Shane asking how many lineups I'm entering. I just do one baseball lineup because we still have basketball in play, so that's what I use my bankroll on. So I'm doing, actually I might have two today, but no, just one. I had two yesterday. Just one MLB lineup for me. I actually find that I've gravitated more towards what Jake said at one point earlier in the streams, which is that you tend to put your better plays in if you're doing just one lineup. So that's what I've been trying to do. And I just don't have the bandwidth to do it with NBA. But soon I'll up it, Sushane. Soon. Do you think Garver will be as highly owned on FanDuel?
Fuck, who hit the home run in the Giants game?
I don't know.
Oh my god, here we go again.
It's a sweat. Get to sweat it out live on the stream. People love that.
It's not a sweat. I'm gonna tumble. It's not a sweat when I don't have options any longer.
It's still you're sweating out your drop, doesn't that count?
No, I'd rather just have the money, honestly. For the second time in a row, I don't want the extra innings.
Oh, Alan Hansen, good. I like that guy. I picked him for a home run once. I remember that.
I might even have him. It might have even been beneficial. I don't know. We'll find out.
See, now it's a sweat again.
Well, I'm sweating enough because I don't have my fan on.
That's right. You are
having great. Fucking not even in the lineup. So.
Oh.
Well, that's good. I mean, I hope somebody else was the pinch hitter and none of it mattered.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay, there you go. It might help you, or not hurt at least. Fingers crossed for you.
I'm still an eighth. But we're going to extras, so we got to start cheering for Nick Hundley and Goldschmidt.
Get your baseball questions in. If you have some either-ors, we'll do a speed round of either-ors. Make sure you put the website that you're playing on, too, because that helps for Josh looking at prices and stuff. But let's ask some bullshit questions. Oh, Sam Travis on the Red Sox. Are you playing him at any depth, and why not if you're not?
I have 5% on DK and 9% on FanDuel. We have him at 3% on FanDuel, so yes, I have him quite a bit.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind Sam Travis. So the Red Sox stack, I don't think looks fantastic. Like from just going, that side of the plate is not as good for them. So I feel like that kind of got me off of them as a team. But I like Bogarts. I think he's in a pretty good spot. I thought Travis, for the price too, is in a pretty good spot. But I find it hard on DK to give up your first base slot to Sam Travis, especially on this slate. Like there are guys who are in contrarian spots too, like a Votto even, who I would take over obviously different prices, but I don't want to give up that spot to Sam Travis, I think is how I felt.
I do if I have Bogarts, Martinez, Eduardo Nunez, and Mitch Moreland, or insert Benintendi there or something like that. It's all about I'm not like one-offing. I don't even know his name, Sam Travis, so...
Yeah, but you couldn't have Moreland and Travis. That was how I felt. It was like right. Travis being at first base. It's like, fuck this, man. I don't need to stack Sam Travis. So that was how I felt about it.
That's how you get a unique stack with the Red Sox.
True, that is true. Let's go, Chubster. There you go. So Shane Kamar on your side. So Shane, a very nice person. We also note the nice people. We note the premium members and the nice people in the chat.
Can you vote for Evan Gaddis, please?
Nobody vote for Evan Gattis, though. Otherwise, you will be on my shit list.
See, that's
so you gotta
you're undermining the integrity of the poll.
I mean, yeah, if you want to vote in our most likely to hit a dong poll, you can do that now. The choices are Robinson Chirinos, Evan Gattis, Jose Martinez, and Luis Valbuena. I like that Jose Martinez is in first place. Feel good about that. Yeah, let's talk. We can talk NBA real fast. Just 5 minutes before. If you have MLB questions, drop them in. Actually, real fast. Zunino, Chirinos, Alfaro, and DK. Which would you do for Clay Melton?
I don't know.
I would go Chirinos because the boss man picked him for a home run and the matchup too.
Let me get it here. There's too many numbers to just have this shit like burned in my brain. Let's see. Chirinos, Alfaro, and Zunino. All right. Well, I have Zunino and Alfaro projected as the two worst catchers on the slate. And we're projecting them at 1% ownership apiece. Chirinos is middle of the pack in overall projection, a 4 or an A value on our site, and projected for 9%. So Chirinos is the only option, in my opinion, unless you're trying to get real weird with Alfaro or Zunino.
Yeah, there you go. So I think it's Chirinos too. Zunino and Alfaro were not considerations for me either at any, really at all. NBA real. Actually, well, no. Let's do MLB. We'll do NBA real fast at the end. So hang on if you're waiting for NBA takes. But I am playing that tournament. Just burning bankroll in these fucking showdown slates. But hey, whatever.
Hey, maybe you'll win it with like 1,500 people again tonight.
It'll be 1,500 this time because there's just like the captain thing does make it a smaller piece of the pie or a bigger split rather. But it's been frustrating because I've had a couple, actually both showdown times, both series games rather, I've had lineups that were like a pivot away. And because I'm only playing, 10 to 20 lineups depending upon the day, obviously I don't have that pivot. So it's a little frustrating. Yeah. Which one did I win? It was one of the Milwaukee Bucks Celtics ones. I don't remember the lineup. But it was shared with, I think, 550 people or so.
550 of your closest friends.
Some of them were repeats. It might just be like 50 people, all of whom had 10. Who knows? Zunino is batting 9th. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of reasons to not play Zunino tonight. And I like Zunino a lot often, but I don't think it's tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely not tonight.
Yakar Young, Tom, your opinion is exactly my experience. Like, there have been a couple times where I'm in 24th place or something. I think game one especially, I was all over that. I actually had a pretty decent little structure that I built around and kind of changed 2 or 3 pieces in. And it was actually impossible for me to get past the first place or get to first place at a certain point because there's so much chalk and then the chalk starts to go off and it sucks. I mean, I still enjoy showdown games, but it does suck a little. Chubzilla, who do you need again for the D-backs Giants game?
Chubzilla? Is this where we're at now? Jesus.
It's getting familial.
Okay. Goldschmidt and Nick Hundley.
Okay.
So I'm sure they're due to do fucking diddly shit for the next 20 minutes just to piss me off.
Not a bad couple players to have though. It's a nice pop.
Yeah, I hope so.
There's a chance it could even break even better for you. Who knows?
I guess that's true. I don't know if any of the 7 people ahead of me have those guys, so there's also a chance that it makes it worse somehow.
I'm surprised you can't, like, even though you're doing the stream and you're preparing your lineups and stuff, I'm surprised you don't check that because that's like the first thing I always check so I know like what my guy is because like you don't really know who your guy in a tournament is until it shakes out.
I know.
I always pay like very close attention. That's probably our difference. It's like I'm just like too attached to it.
I don't check any like when we sign off of this thing, I'm done. Like I don't generally care. I won't know how I do till the morning. Ooh, Alex Reyes out for the year.
Oh, there we go. Big news. Breaking news here on the stream. Spencer, we did a guest dong pick today. We did one with Alex, our founder, Osmo, and he picked Chirinos. So
he's the best guest we can get.
that's true. The most relevant guest. I feel like maybe we get I could maybe get Katie Nolan on. I feel like that'd be a bigger guest, just numbers wise.
Yeah, I guess.
But it wouldn't be more relevant. Just say pick your verb choice, your word choice correctly. Chat guest dong. What you give your dong picks in the chat when you have a guest dong pick. We do have to actually we have to follow up with that Mbosh kid who was in here today. I saw his name pop up and I totally forgot that we haven't followed up with him.
Yeah,
we got to get him on. Do you have his Twitter handy enough?
I mean, he tweeted at us, so I can.
Mbosh, tweet us one more time, I guess. But should we try to get him on for Friday? Do our first you want a tournament? We'll have you on thing.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, so Bosch, if you're in the chat, tweet us one more time. If not, we'll figure out. We'll try to find you. But if you're available Friday, we'd love to have you on, and we'll do our first, hey, you want a tournament? Woo! It's probably not the name of the segment, but hey, you want a tournament? Woo! That's a pretty decent sound to it, I think. Simeon or Chapman for DK if you're playing athletics?
Well, I mean, it depends if you're trying to find someone for ownership or not. I've got Semien at 24%, and I've got Chapman at 8%, so probably Semien.
All right. I like Chapman a little more personally. When I was looking at A-Stack at first, because I thought it might be contrarian to go that way after they failed last night. I was more into Olsen, Chapman, Davis, Fowler, and actually, I don't know if he's in the final lineup. Is the A's final lineup out? I assume it is.
It is.
Okay, so
everything's
they're not
out except for the Royals.
Yeah, so the projected one that I saw had Maxwell in it, who I thought was a pretty good value. But I think Lucroy is fine too. But I think for me, I was more into the Chapman than Simeon when I was looking at that stack at depth. Bosch, how about Monday? Yeah, we could probably figure that out. But do tweet us, though, so we can talk to you offline. Or email me. I now have an Osmo email. Email Chris@osmo.com if you want. And one of those two things will get you on. Which team scores the most runs on today's slate? I don't know. I don't know about that. I guess we're just guessing that, I presume. What would be your guess on that, Josh? We're not giving a data answer.
Either the Twins or the A's.
For me, I think I would go. I mean, I'm hoping it's the Cardinals, but I think the Twins are a decent look at that. Any updates on Iguodala? Iguodala's still a game-time decision last I saw, unless anything's changed. But I think he's going to play. Steve Kerr said he's probably going to play, so I'm projecting him to play.
Go Warriors.
No, go LeBron. Give him a shot.
Give him one series at end.
It would be a bit of a mercy killing at this point, but I don't want LeBron to give up. When LeBron gives up, it makes me so sad.
Fuck it. He'll be fine next year in Philly or Houston.
Yeah, Houston apparently the favorite now in Vegas. Interesting.
Really?
Yeah. They passed them within the last week, which means that there must be some sort of weird information out there.
I mean, I can send an IM or two and have somebody move that back if we need to.
Yeah, I'm sure. Josh, when you use your cruncher, do you use 2 4-player stacks for every team in the advanced options section?
It's different every day. It all depends on the size of the slate.
Oh, somebody passed you, apparently.
Yeah, I saw that.
Good job, Alex B. We're proud of you. I'm proud of you.
You know what? I'm not mad that it's somebody in the chat. Let's put it that way. I'm less salty, but yes, I fucking noticed.
Good job, Alex B. You built your team for the long haul.
Hey,
Josh
look, I'm happy for you. I got Hundley up when this goes to the bottom half. I think he bats 8 fucking times from now, so it doesn't matter. And I'm probably going to get taken over. I'm sure it's going to end on a grand slam like the last one did when it went to extra innings.
Yeah, and now we are locked for the tournaments. So for the baseball tournament. So let's talk NBA.
Are we really? I forgot to get my lineups fixed.
Caleb Ferguson, 6%. So a little higher on than we thought.
Oh, we're locked. Almost had a. Whew, I saw it jump.
No, you're okay. You're okay. Yeah. Ferguson at 6%. I don't mind this. Spags, which showdown contest are you in? I am in the whatever the big one is on DraftKings, so the main one. If I get rocked again today, I may go back, but I'm probably just gonna burn money on this and play my stupid fucking 15 to 20 entries and just lose it the rest of the NBA Finals. But let's talk about the showdown. People are asking about the captain thing. So the captain is a little bit counterintuitive. You don't actually want the best value. You want the best value of guys who are getting a certain points threshold. And that's going to be slate dependent. But you could see from the previous 2 games, if you look at the actual scoring on on the unnamed optimizer site that does a rewind of scores, you can look through it and see which lineups win. And it's lineups in the game 1. It was Draymond Green lineups because he was the best value play with a high points total. And in the last game, it was Curry, even though Curry wasn't a great value per se, and there were guys who were like 10 to 12x values like McGee and David West. The lineups still don't usually work that way. And I think in this series, it's probably not going to change. So to me, I would be interested in playing Love or Klay Thompson at the captain spot. I think they're at the right price points for that upside and also just, so they're not taking up your entire salary cap. There might be a logic in playing LeBron and going cheap because if he goes off, it could be a completely different ballgame. But I don't see how you do that. I don't think that's a plus EV approach, even though that might end up winning. I would rather go Love. I'm still okay with Curry in that spot. If you think Durant's going to have a big game, I'm still okay with those guys. I'd probably less into Draymond today. I just don't think he's going to play as well on the road. He hasn't had a game above 40 points on the road outside of the Pelican series. These playoffs, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So I think overall that's how I feel about the slate. And it's sort of going to be your guess. I mean, the Cavs, I would try to play more like J.R. Smith at home is a better play. Hill at home is a better play. I probably wouldn't be crazy about Jeff Green. I probably wouldn't be crazy about Rodney Hood, even though I like Rodney Hood and I'm playing some of him. It's probably a stupid play, and I'm probably going to want to hit myself in the head after for playing Rodney Hood. But I think what Osmo said earlier was a pretty valid point. If we think Hood's going to be owned, there might be a logic in going to West. If you think West is going to be highly owned, there might be a logic in sticking with McGee. So there's a lot of stuff there to deviate as. George Hill as captain, Zach Mitchell, I think is an interesting thought. And I will say that I have a couple of those. It's hard, again, I don't like banking on George Hill by having him in a lineup. So by having him at captain, you're double banking on him. But super interesting lineup constructions with George Hill at captain is what I would say from what I've seen. Do you have any thoughts on the game tonight? Any sort of, if you don't have to be super projection-y, but anything you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking Evan Gaddis got 3 votes. What?
Good job.
No, I mean the series is dead.
Aw.
I can't imagine them getting up for this.
It's a home game. I mean, the teams in the series, in every series, who are not home favorites, or don't have the home court advantage. Game 3s are the game that you can win, and the game that they usually do win out of those, even if they're not favored. And that's, again, a larger sample size where it's not super helpful because it's so large. But this is their shot to win a game and to not be embarrassed. The Warriors, though, I think are going to come out trying to sweep them.
Yeah.
I think that would be lots of them.
All right, so let's see. Golden State minus 148. So let's just say that line is correct. 100 divided by 234. So Cleveland's 43% chance to win. So for them to win them both, we're looking at... Wow, that doesn't seem even close to true. I would not say that they have an 18% chance of winning both games, but apparently they do.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess go Cleveland then. That's fine. But, I mean, they're just not good. They're just not as good. It's so staggering.
I agree. But, Rose said it in the podcast he did with Simmons today, which I thought was it's a thing that we all know, but it's something interesting to hear it from a player where he's so much of the game is emotion based. And if those guys come out with the right emotion, And they didn't come out with the right emotion after game 1 when J.R. Smith fucked it all up. But he was saying, like, that's the difference. It's like when you come out like that, you're just not going to win. But if you come out with the right motivation, you might be more likely to. So,
spoiler alert, man, I'm only 15 minutes into that.
Wait, what was that?
I said spoiler alert, I'm only 15 minutes into that, but no, 25 minutes into that podcast.
Sorry. Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's a good podcast. I don't, I hope that doesn't ruin it for you. But that is like the sixth sense twist of the podcast. One game one, at least if we're talking on DraftKings, Nance would have gotten you close, but it was still Draymond Green. Like Nance, you could have gotten within a couple points, but you saw it a stream. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you are not an Awesemo.com premium member, make sure you are doing that because all the things that we talk about, including Awesemo's articles from the man himself, are all on our website for you to review and do stuff with and make your lineups better. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like the videos. We've also got a Playline contest coming on Friday, which I know nothing about because the link didn't work on my phone. But playline.com/r/Awesemo. Apparently, everybody's winning money on there because the overlay is ridiculous. So if you're trying to make a DFS career, go to playline.com/r/Awesemo and win some money. That shouldn't be too hard to win. Josh,
it's a big tourney. I'm pulling it up now just so I have the right data. I forget how it's their biggest guaranteed tournament to date.
There you go. I should have hyped that more then. I forgot that it was the biggest to date. Oh, Shabazz Muhammad of the night. Shabazz Muhammad of the night's probably still David West. But it would probably be Hood more than that.
And I'll have a Playline article up probably tomorrow night, heading into Friday. So get excited.
Okay, so keep an eye out for that. And we'll be back again tomorrow with more talking about sports and DFS and chat and talk about Jake's weird room. So thank you, baseball savant Jake Hari. Thank you, Josh Engelman. Thanks, Chubster. Thanks, Alex. And we'll see you guys again soon.